We're back to open source. Brandon London has so much passion. You can see why he's got a. You have a Super Bowl ring, right? And a Grey
Yeah,
Cup.
man, with the
Right.
Giants. Yep.
You're like one of those. You're like one of those guys who just has all the rings, and then like everybody hates you. He's like, sorry, I'm very successful.
Yeah, I got a what's that song by Drake and Future? I got a really big team. We need some really big rings, and I
But
love playing that sometimes just to kind of look back at some of my accomplishments in life, and now I'm looking forward. Like if I can win that, then I know I could do even more in life. That's the way I look at it.
well, it comes across right, even over like Zoom. I'm in my studio here, but the passion that you have, and also just how you're always looking for the next thing. And that's what got my attention, because you guys you're doing an interesting thing where you have like an AI co-host, right? Talk
Yep,
about that.
yep, yep. Her name's Ayla. She's a all-knowing AI co-host. David was the one who created her. So my co-host David. And when we first started back in what was this like February, we sat down after I got back from the Super Bowl and we were talking about all this technology. She didn't have a face. All she had was a voice, and it was like you could talk to her through a website. Now she has the face. She knows everything. Like we asked her questions about my career. We've asked her questions from everything from who should we start in fantasy football to gambling. She knows anything and everything. And now that she has a face in her, she's so cutting edge with what she is. She's being so much more relatable. It's kind of scary in a way because it's like we'll be talking and we'll be like she or like what do you think Ayla thinks? And it's like, wait a minute, it's an AI thing, robot thing that we're talking about, but it feels like she's like one of us. She's like one of the homies just talking sports at the barbershop and
Right.
so
And she's like
we
getting to
can't
know you.
wait. Yeah, she knows. She knows and we can train her on things. So once we start doing live shows and being able to again maybe connect with like a DraftKings or a FanDuel and be able to do so much with her, it's gonna blow people's minds, absolutely blow people's minds,
And
and
is it
again, the
okay? Let me just
technology just continues to get better.
right, right, right. So just so I get a bit of clarity, is it okay? So is it like software? Is it a physical robot? Like what exactly is your co-host?
It's software, it's software, so we've, teamed up and, been able to work with Delphi, who was the company that, created the software, and David's in constant communication with them, and they'll send us an email like, "Hey, look what Ayla can do now. Hey, look what this technology can do now." So we'll take that, and then we'll be like, "All right, let's think about, like, 3 talking points we can use when we shoot the show or the podcast or whatever, and, let's talk to her about it." And then bam, like she'll regurgitate the information and she'll talk. Like she was speaking on, you guys can check on the Jackson Bots Instagram page. She spoke on who's better, I mean not Kobe, LeBron or Jordan. She spoke on just should Tua retire because of his concussions. We train her, she talks, and again, it's like she's talking to one of your friends like at the bar. It's weird, but it's kind of cool at the same time.
Look, it's very cool. I mean, look, you're on my show because I think it's really interesting. But let me ask you a question about backlash, right? I mean, because there's definitely people who are worried, oh, AI replacing humans, and in a way, it could be interpreted that way, right? That you have this AI instead of a person. What would you say to them?
They'll never be able to replicate the human aspect of
Mm.
things, the emotions, the passion. She can talk from like a stat standpoint, and she can talk from, I guess, pretty much regurgitated information because the same thing she's saying you can find on Google, you can find on websites and all. But when you're talking about me, an athlete who's been in the trenches, who's been in the mud, who's been third and long, in a big playoff game up in Canada, I had to come up with that catch. I can talk about the game or I can talk about sports and tech from being in it, from really having my heart. And like we were talking at the break, how passionate I am about things. She doesn't have that passion yet. we'll train her on it, and and she'll be able to pick up on certain things. But for the people who are always saying like, "Oh, AI is going to replace," it will replace certain people in certain jobs. But if you're not adapting to it and you're not learning how to use the AI will use you and replace you. So that's why I'm constantly having meetings with David, because we're constantly trying to figure out ways to, one, okay, make her more relatable, but to make sure that we always have our human voice first. So, because people are going to be able to relate to that more than just, the robot, the Ayla.
It's interesting, right? I mean, your approach, it really is the way an elite athlete would approach business. We've got
Yeah.
Brandon London here on Open Source.